အားလုံးမင်္ဂလာပါဆို TI တို့ချိုးရအောင် TI ဒီနေ့ပွဲကတင်း Falcon နဲ့တင်း Xtreme လာနေရယ်ပြသွားပြီကျွန်တော် game 1တော့ပြဖို့မေ့ပါပြဖို့မေ့ပါမဟုတ်ပြတ်လာတယ်ပြပြလိုက်တော့မှလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့ကြည့်လိုက်တယ် game တော့ဆောင်းတော့မိုက်မသိတော့ duration over ရတယ် duration 40တော့ကြော်ရတယ်အခု game 2လာတော့လာနေရယ်သူတို့ဟိုဟာ analyze တွေနဲ့ရှူလိုက်ပါ
Pangolier, who isn't really the most typical offlaner. It doesn't really pressure very much. So Ame is basically just going to hit this triangle multiple times. And the only time he doesn't do this basically is when the camps aren't respawned. Then sometimes he'll go to other places to hit creeps. But that's going to take time, and he's got to walk there. That isn't exactly the best way for him to get farmed. So he's just going to keep doing this circle. He's got a small advantage right here. But what gets kind of crazy is that 9 minutes into the game, he's still doing the exact same circle. It's not normal for carries to do it for this long, because at some point your opponents come to gank you. You sometimes leave the map to go gank somewhere else, for example, but because he has got such good map reads and he's got these traps circling his tower really effectively, this helps provide him vision and make sure that when he does get ganked, if he gets ganked, he's going to be safe. So he's occasionally going to be careful. Like, for example, there's a couple heroes on the map that are missing right now, so if he doesn't know where these 3 heroes are at the map and he hasn't seen them at all, they could be smoke ganking him. They don't end up actually doing that, so he ends up continuing the circle. 16 minutes into the game, this guy's level 14, and he hasn't left his safe lane yet. He's hit so many creeps. He's hit 200 creeps, and that's what's making up for this big net worth advantage that we're seeing over here. He's got 2,000 more gold than the nearest carry, which is kind of crazy at this point. And eventually, he finally decides to cross the no man's land and hit the enemy tower. And the only reason he's doing this is because his whole team is here, hiding in darkness, backing him up. If he gets gone on, he's going to be covered by his teammates. So he ends up taking the tier 1 tower here at 16 minutes. He doesn't end up leaving his lane until 17:30. He TPs to the Ancients. He's never going to stop farming while he's about to do something, by the way. So he cleans that up. They smoke. They move all the way to the bot rune. And this is the first time that he participates in a kill. It's 18 minutes into the game. They get this really nice Pango kill. He clears the mid wave, and then he goes to work on Roshan. So that's the big fight that the Falcons end up taking. But he's got such a nice gold advantage with this Hurricane Pike, with their nice team fight, that it just cascades into an Aegis. And that's what really starts their snowball. So incredible farming by Ame to get themselves in that huge advantage, but also incredible by Falcons to be able to turn this around and take the win.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Purge.
Thanks,
Purge.
Thanks, Purge.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't get the moment.
Thank you.
I did. Thanks, Purge.
Thanks. I'd be able to take it to still claim that stake of being an undefeated team here in the road to the international playoffs. So how do you stop such a snowbally extreme gaming? The macro felt great. It felt like they were always kind of on the map where Falcons wanted to go. They were preemptive in a lot of ways, and it almost felt that they were running as a 4 earlier than what we see most other teams start running as a group of 4.
Yeah, I mean, they were. How do you stop it? Well, I think you just did what they did in this game. You have to just take the fights that are good, but I think going to this next game, they're going to think a bit earlier into the game on how they can stop this. Maybe not give Ame last pick. As much as Falcons did win this game, they're probably not happy on how they won this game. It didn't go very smoothly, so probably finding a way to crack Xtreme in the early game might be the better strategy going into this next game.
Yeah, I think one thing to look at for sure is possibly contesting the second pick, because Xtreme has only played second pick so far, and Ame keeps getting the last pick, gets a great carry for the game, just like Purge was showing. He was having a fantastic game on the TA. So I would like to see Falcons at least consider it. I don't know who had choice the first game, but if Falcons have choice the second game, maybe contest second pick, try a different approach. But if they don't, if they still have first pick, maybe they should rethink the opener a little bit, because the Beastmaster did look great in the end, but they were also in a position where they probably should have lost. At least if I were, on that team, I'm sure they feel the same way, that, we probably should not win this game. We were able to clutch it, but I don't want to replay the same thing.
Okay. So you feel like, forcing the hand to see, okay, what do Xtreme Gaming want to open with? How are they going to be able to draft for themselves if they don't have that overall last pick? Is there anything that we can look at the Ray for that Falcons draft a little bit more on some things that you would also like to see potentially changed when you saw the playstyle and the execution?
I think we all kind of hated the Knicks.
All the way through from draft till end?
I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought they tried to do nice stuff with it. I think there was a time where they invaded the jungle and killed Malrine. Oh, not Malrine, sorry. They killed XM Storm, and I remember seeing Xtreme like instantly come by with like a ward and a sentry. Be like, all right, let's not have that happen again. And like it didn't then happen again. They didn't get any more ganks off because of that, because it's so awkward playing with this like Nyx Ench. I don't know. I felt awkward.
Okay. All right, well, before we do get into this game number 2, and before we get a draft, we had the chance, or at least Pyrian did, to catch up with XM before the road to the international playoffs started.
Hello, I'm here with XM from Xtreme Gaming. XM, how are you doing today?
感觉很棒。
How would you describe Xtreme Gaming's season, let's say from the start of the year till now, the start to Road to TI?
年初其实就是我们人员就经历了几次变动吧，然后到现在就那个阵容稳定下来，就是感觉还挺好的，都有在进步。
So you say you've got a more stable roster, which is obviously good, but you are also playing without Poloson. You have Xnova standing in. So how is the team adapting to that at the sort of last minute change?
我觉得普鲁松的打法比较偏进攻吧，会让我们那个队伍进攻性比较强，然后那个 Xnova 就是偏防守，然后就是我们的防守会做得更好一点。
And what are your expectations at this TI, and how far is the team hoping that they can go?
其实我觉得就是不用抱，就是那个没什么期望，就是享受每一场比赛就行。
What do you think in terms of the heroes that we're going to see at this tournament? Which heroes do you think are going to be the most contested at the top of the meta?
我觉得是那个最热门的应该是那个牛头人。
Do you ever feel like there's extra pressure on Chinese teams to win a TI because it's been so long and you guys have come so close? Do you feel that pressure from the fans and that sort of demand that you should come home with the Aegis?
其实就是会有的，就是跟我上个问题说的一样，就是我觉得就是我们选手就不要抱期望，享受比赛就行了。其实这样就是对我们来说没有压力，会打得更好一些。
So you finished third in Club Vision. You lost out to Tidebound. You guys seemed to have met them a lot this year. It feels like a real battle between you two. If you do meet them, are you out for revenge, or are you just hoping to avoid bumping into them altogether?
就是如果遇到他们，肯定就是很想赢他们的。最好还是不要遇到。
Fair enough. XM, thank you so much for talking to me, and best of luck in the tournament.
谢谢。
哦，以后的今年的，专注呢，不光呢，啥都就来。
Well, we heard it there from XM himself saying that Xtreme Gaming, or at least a lot of the players, they just want to play without expectations, no pressure. It's hard in a situation like this. Why you come to the international, you're on the road to the international, and you just kind of got to realize you're only 2 series away from making it to that playoffs. So the pressure does start to build a little bit.
For sure, it's definitely somewhere in the back of your mind. I think the teams are able to put that away, or maybe use it. You know, you could also be a person that uses that pressure to play even better. It depends on the kind of person, the kind of team you are. But when I look at Xtreme Gaming, I do feel like these guys are very comfortable to play on, you know, a TI in general. Like I think the first thing I said about this team is that these guys are TI players. ZinQ, XXS, Ame, they've been here. They've had amazing performances. They've had top finishes. So Xnova as well, all the X's. So I'm not surprised to see that composure from when all their games so far, even the last game we just watched, fantastic Dota. So I don't think they're the type of team to get pressured that easily.
Okay. Do you think that they're a type of team that's able to bounce back, Phil? That this game 1 and the fashion in which they lost it won't be rolling over too much into this game 2 of a series?
I think that really is on Ame and what type of person he is. Like, if that game ends and he's like, "My bad, guys, I should have bought BKB," go next. You know, no hard feelings.
Yeah,
but if someone says, "Maybe you should have bought a BKB," it's like, no, that wasn't the issue, and it snowballs into something else. That could be a problem. So I'm just hoping it's just like simple as that. Like, bad. I should have bought BKB. Whatever. Go next. And then this team looks really good. Like they should have won that game. Just a couple of adjustments here and there shouldn't really affect their playstyle. I'm hoping it doesn't. But oftentimes these teams that aren't doing super well throughout the year end up having a good streak on day 1, and then one bad thing happens to them, and then they start performing badly. Can happen, and I just hope it doesn't.
I thought you were going to add something to that because you along. You're like, Vice Sphere,
Yes,
always sharing very
I was
good words.
appreciating him. I'm just like, it
No,
feels good
cool
to
down.
soak in
Then
the
they tell her
knowledge
to,
that
yeah,
he's
yeah,
writing.
Someone saw it,
I'm just lucky to be here with him.
Look, I appreciate that as well. And we can be lucky that a Game 2 draft is on our screen, giving us a little bit more to talk about. In that Game 1, the bans were... It felt so curated to the two teams that were coming up against each other. Sand King, it's going to stay there. It's going to be remaining as a ban. Chen as well, right? These are two ones that it feels like when you're coming up against Falcons, they're going to pick it if it is still left in the pool. So they're taking it out along with the Dawn, Bane, Disruptor, and Naga Siren from Falcons. And this is what you wanted, Fly. You wanted to see how it's going to change up if Xtreme Gaming aren't going to be the ones with overall last pick.
Yeah, I imagine Falcons probably take second pick. I'm not sure, but I think it's a good idea. But they do leave the Shaker, which is, as we saw this year, has a 90% win rate, at least at the start of the day. I don't know if the other matches had a Shaker in there. So that's a big one to leave. I wonder what kind of plan they have against this hero. I'm not sure. And I don't know if I've seen Xtreme play it, or specifically XM. I don't think it's really his kind of hero. So I would not be surprised if Xtreme is going to flex this hero and potentially put it on Xingqiu, or even as an offlaner, which I think I've seen Collapse play before. So we'll see what they do with this Shaker, but as we know, this hero is completely OP right now. And they go with the Beast again, which did end up working well for them in the end in the first game. And on second pick, I think it's even stronger because it is easier to keep that flex going till the very end.
Is Shaker just OP or OP is a core?
As a core, because you need levels to get your facet.
Yeah, so like I know Xingqiu loves this hero Xtreme, but yeah, as you mentioned, not really an XM hero.
So you don't think even playing the Shaker with an active core or an active mid is enough to give it as a support the levels to gain that power?
It's definitely different because right now we're looking at Shaker. They're all kind of doing the same build where they buy this Yashakaya. They do this thing where you just push waves from Fog, where you Fisher and you enchant totem. And as support, you're not going to have that same amount of gold. You're not going to have the same amount of levels. It doesn't mean the hero is bad as a support, but the reason why the hero has been successful is because of the items and the levels that he gets. Maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe XM busted out and he plays it amazing. But this goes back to what we were talking about, especially yesterday, where comfort matters, especially when you come here, and there is that added pressure. We'll see what they do with it. I don't know yet. I'm definitely curious to see what happens, but I feel like Falcons, we're going to see something more normal from them in terms of support. So I think we're just going to get the follow-up here on the 13th pick. It's going to be probably Pugna that I'm expecting, or a Snapfire, something like this. We're going to get standard Falcons, which is great. That's what I want to see from them.
That's probably why Falcons just left the Shaker too, right? It's just they're not super afraid of Xtreme having it. Sure, maybe it's the OP hero, as we saw before in previous series. NP might be OP with some teams, but they're probably not afraid of Xtreme playing it in this position.
Yeah, I think just for reference, in their last tournament, I think they had PYW playing support for them, and he played Shaker as a support on the team. So, I mean, if Xingqiu, who loves it, is now here, that definitely could be like Lyrical just walked into a wall.
He's fine.
I can't believe you're going to call him out like that.
He's good.
That made me laugh, and they need to know why.
That crazy Pugna suck though on the screen every time. It goes crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, Shaker, definitely flexible, but I completely agree with everything Fly said about why it's so strong as a core. I totally believe in it more in that position in this patch.
Alright, so we do get Pugna, which I think Snaking's been playing almost exclusively like Chen and Pugna. And you might as well stick to the formula that's working. I don't see a single issue with it. When Liquid won TI last year, it was kind of the same for Insania's hero pool. He played like 3 heroes. But we get the Shadow Demon, which is usually Xingqiu's hero, which makes me think that the Shaker is going to be a core, either mid or offlane, I don't know yet. Shadow Demon, great answer, right? It's Purge against the Decrepify, it's a save against Roar. He's played fantastic on it. It's easy to stack Ancients for the Shaker, so I really like this synergy. I think this is a good response, and we'll probably get the position 5 here. Not sure what's left from the normal heroes. Okay, Murano. Cool.
Not a normal hero. It's been a while.
I think I saw it yesterday being played.
Oh, what's
by Eris?
So
yeah, you're right. He did play it.
Xtreme also played this a while back.
Okay.
I think at Wallachia, they had this exact combo, but they had like
Java,
Polson on the team,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just roaming around with Shadow Demon Mirana, like it was 2015 or something.
It's a throwback. It's actually a throwback.
It really is, and they were just like roaming around and like getting kills and stuff. So this is something they've done before in the past. It's just like
oldest combo I've seen.
yeah, and they won with it too. So this does confirm that Shaker's going to be a core. Still don't know what position entirely, but yeah, very classic support duo that goes back a very, very long time.
Yeah.
It kind of went away for a reason because dual roaming with support isn't as popular anymore.
I was gonna say, doesn't that make Shaker seem more like a mid? I don't know how Shaker off lane looks exactly right now, but I don't think you want to just leave him alone because he's kind of a bullyable solo laner.
I think you probably should go mid. Yeah, I think right now it just is more stable in that position, and it's there's always a couple mid heroes that are just like they're banned for a reason because you just can't really counter them. Even if you have a good matchup, they can still find a way to have a game.
Look, even more standard coming out from Falcons that you guys were hoping for. The Snapfire, they're going to be a little bit more of a standard support for them. And then the Mag as well, something that they do really enjoy and love going back for. Before we talk about them, though, do want to make note, right now, Nature's Prophet, completely ignored by both teams. In both bands.
Yeah.
Not even looking to potentially pick it up.
Trash hero.
Confirmed.
We're sick of it.
Heard it here first from Fia. Trash hero. Stop picking it.
I think Falcons do play a good Nature's Prophet because they played both on Skitter and Marine, but they prioritize things differently, and also depends on the team you're playing. Because we know Xtreme is not a team that's going to rate Prophet very high. You can also shift your priorities and be like, okay, let's not contest this hero unless it makes perfect sense. And I like what they're doing. I think they have a very good formula to play the Falcons Dota, where they have, crit plus one hero, either Beast or Magnus. They can kill anything on the map together. Snaking's on his like healer / pseudo pusher. So I like what Falcons